Welcome to this bonus episode of Living Wow Out Loud. This initial bonus series is going to be a reading of the book, 8 Lessons Lupus Taught Me from Surviving to Thriving with Autoimmune Disease. I've chosen to include this as a bonus because it really is the foundation that led to Change Your Story. It then led to the website Rise to Shine, and eventually morphed into Living Wow as we know it today. And so in order for those of you who may not be readers or have chosen the podcast platform, I want you to also have access to the book. And because I have all the rights to all my material, I'm able to upload it here for you as a bonus episode. So I'm going to break it into chapters to make it more digestible. And you will see, I will label all of these as bonus episodes, 8 Lessons Lupus Taught Me from Surviving to Thriving with Autoimmune Diseases, and then the chapter. So enjoy. I hope you get something of value out of these bonus episodes. Lesson 7, the Chrysalis period. I use the butterfly to symbolize the transformation in my coaching practice. For me, the butterfly is symbolic of transformation. As I selected the butterfly for symbolism, I still felt very much like a caterpillar surviving, going around munching on leaves and crawling on the ground, literally just trying to survive. That period with my autoimmune diagnosis, when I realized what I was dealing with and that the struggles that I had employed throughout my life for survival were in fact sabotaging me and making my health worse, that is when I realized that I needed to do something differently. That was the beginning of my Chrysalis experience, when I went into a great deal of study of nutrition and mindfulness, alternative healing with energy work, meditation, and spirituality with my Father in heaven. I was digging deep into all the aspects of my life because my physical challenges created an opportunity for me to study and immerse myself in all the difficult aspects of my life, physical, mental, and spiritual. As I did that, I had my Chrysalis experience over a 5-year time span, where I really enrobed myself in that focus and the change happened. As I learned all of those pieces of information, I applied it, and oftentimes it was still very much a struggle and felt very unnatural and challenging for me to apply some of the principles. They were very contrary to our standard American diet, very contrary to our standard American lifestyle, very contrary to my upbringing and belief systems. The tapes that I ran in my head and the beliefs that I had in my mind were uncomfortable to come up against and challenge them and reprogram my lifestyle. My background is in neurocognitive rehab and retraining the brain. I've done that for 25 years, but I really didn't grasp the relationship to my lifestyle. I related it to recovering from a brain injury or a stroke or some sort of neurological incident. I would tell my patients, 3 things you must have for best recovery: good mood, good food, and rest. That counsel came from my observation of patients who had a missing piece to that puzzle that would stall out their recovery. If I observed a weak area for the patient, we would address it head on with strategies to improve their mood, food, or rest and weave it into therapy to maximize their progress and outcomes. I didn't necessarily relate it to my lifestyle. It was both overwhelming and encouraging because I knew the results. I knew that neuro reprogramming was possible and that it basically was what I was doing. I knew from experience that it wasn't a magic bullet. Change and progress requires a lot of practice and repetition. I was doing it throughout my entire lifestyle. It was a behavioral change, mindset change, brain change, chemistry change, and it took place over that 5-year Chrysalis period. Then in the last 1 to 3 years, I felt the awakening out of that Chrysalis. I've been able to spread my wings as a butterfly. Even awakening into the new transformed butterfly took time. I felt like I would get a wing out and find myself in a flare and frustrated thinking, I thought I was past this. The perfect example of this was when I decided to return to practice as a speech therapist 2 years ago. My favorite setting for rehab is home health because that is where you can really get to know not only the patients, but their families and support system. It's the most quote, real, unquote, environment for healthcare, and it is so rewarding. It's also very flexible and low stress in comparison to other healthcare settings. I had heard of a new company that was in the area whose therapy approach and culture closely aligned with mine. I was offered what seemed like the perfect position with full time pay and benefits at 32 hours a week with a company I was really excited to work with. Less than a month back into healthcare, bam, I was right back into old habits. Probably the most shocking to me was the mindless eating and hitting the drive throughs. In my caterpillar life, it was very common for me to put whatever was in front of me in my mouth. When you're in home health and running between patients, it is most convenient to hit the drive through. You have to stop and use the restroom anyway, so why not grab something to eat as well? I work through meals often because I'm evaluating the swallowing function of a patient and will miss my own meal. At the university, I had learned to pass on the massive amounts of junk food that was used as a reward, marketing, and entertainment because I would fuel my body. I was very mindful of the choices I made. I could easily participate in any activity and had mastered my eating. At home, I had complete control of my environment and schedule. I was shocked when I found myself back in the old triggers with the exact same autopilot behaviors surfacing. Within a month of being back in healthcare, I was back in autoimmune flares that fluctuated in length and severity for the next 18 months. Despite recognizing the supportive habits and behaviors that my transforming butterfly was experiencing, I definitely had growing pains coming out of that cocoon and spreading my wings fully. The difference this time around was much like my initial experience when I first felt no pain and increased energy after 20 years of being a caterpillar. I knew how good it felt to feel good. I couldn't go back to pain and depletion as, quote, normal. I know how to heal and support my body. That has been my experience of transformation. I had felt the wings of the butterfly. I've come too far to go back. So I continued. I will admit, with a great deal of frustration, I had to set up new strategies and triggers to be mindful and intentional. I had to refine and practice even more reprogramming. I would do great and then fall back until finally the butterfly emerged. I literally feel like I am thriving. I am flying. I am this butterfly who has now been freed of these autoimmune diseases, not because they are cured, but because I've been transformed by them. My lifestyle now supports my health instead of feeling trapped by my health. I no longer need to use my health as an excuse or as a justification for me to slow down or for me to set boundaries. I now align with who I was born to be and use that as my justification rather than my health or lack thereof. My environment no longer defines me or triggers me because I define my environment. I choose my perspective and focus on how I respond to the things that are outside of my control. I am mindful of what I allow into my mouth, my mind, and my heart. I am 100% responsible for the choices I make and the resulting outcomes, good or bad. I have gone through this transformation journey from the caterpillar surviving with a limited view and struggling lifestyle, even though I had great abundance around me. Look at everything that is around the caterpillar. Everything is bounteous and plentiful, and the caterpillar is by no means in threat of starvation or working too hard. But yet, that is how the caterpillar feels. Munch, munch, munch. The caterpillar then enters into the immersion period of the chrysalis with transformative learning and nurturing, eventually awakening into a transformed state. Even in that transformed state, as a butterfly that is now able to see the big picture and has a completely different viewpoint of the world, the perspective is so grand, and the hope and the joy and the peace are so great. I always said that I would know when my transformation was complete because it would no longer be the exception to do these things, like meditation or eating a healthy diet. Making the healthy choice would just be making the choice versus good or bad. It would just be my normal. Some of my old behaviors would actually be the uncommon behavior. I have reached that point, so I do know that my transformation has occurred, and thus I've emerged as the butterfly. Even as the butterfly, you still land. You still land on a leaf. It's higher so that you have that different perspective, but you still have to rest. You still have to take it in. You can't fly all the time. You can't glory all the time. You can't just take it in and look around. Sometimes you have to sit and rest. Sometimes you have to nourish and continue that lifestyle and awareness that got you there in the first place, because you can still get eaten by a bird or squished as a butterfly. It's not all glorious. I'm not cured of my autoimmune diseases. They are not gone. This is a journey. And as my transformation journey has come into its fullness, I recognize that it continues to be ongoing. It is not a destination that you reach when you're done. Rather, it continues to be something that you maintain and that you continue to grow. You continue to find new heights and new opportunities, and in that you rest and restore. As you do those things, it supports the heights. That is the lesson as I continue to learn and continue to refine. Hey, if you find value here on the Living Wow Out Loud podcast, will you please share it with your friends and take a minute to rate it on the platform that you're listening on? That's how we live wow out loud. You know that more people need hope and they need the messages shared. And that's how we get recognized among all the noise. This is where you find your voice. Will you please share and subscribe and rate so that we can grow? After my personal transformation from surviving to thriving with autoimmune diseases, I was completely astounded that the experience was not what I expected it to be. Instead of resenting my body and being forever trapped with a legacy of bad genes, as I had believed would be my fate, I looked and felt 20 years younger. I had dropped weight that had plagued me for decades, eliminated chronic pain that no doctor, therapy, or medicine could relieve, and found energy that I hadn't had since I was 16 years old. Because this is not what I expected, and because I wish someone would have told me that there is another way than sad, I wrote the book, 8 Lessons Lupus Taught Me from Surviving to Thriving with Autoimmune Diseases. As I began to share the book and the message of change your story, Living Wow was born. After years of continuing to learn and study how and why lifestyle has such an impact on disease and the world being torn apart by a global pandemic, I can't stand by any longer keeping it to myself. You have to understand that the power is in your hands. The power is in your body. The power is in your lifestyle. The Living Wow Center is a holistic wellness practice that utilizes the framework of the Living Wow lifestyle to identify system failures or maintenance needs. Whether you just need a tune-up or a complete systems overhaul, we support you as an individual to get back out on the journey and living wow. We will work with you to determine levels of function, needs, tools, resources, and/or providers that may be best equipped to guide you as you step out of the negative health cycle and turn it into a positive health cycle. The Living Wow Center offers a revolutionary, comprehensive approach to healing, coaching, and support that is necessary in our complex, sad world. Schedule your complimentary consultation today to see how Living Wow can support you. I'm super excited to announce Supercharge for you. We are changing the name of the Living Wow Challenge to more clearly represent the monthly support program where you take Living Wow for a 10-day spin. I know 10 days doesn't seem like much, but it is. And that's why it's now Supercharge. Living Wow Supercharge is a 10-day supported focus on eating a clean, nutritionally dense diet with intention as you jumpstart into the Living Wow lifestyle. You will feel lighter, more energetic, and empowered with your nutrition. You will experience the power of nutritional healing with less pain, more energy, and a better mood. The Supercharge includes a comprehensive 10-day seasonal menu, recipes, videos, quick start guides, and links to resources. You begin with a prep, then daily support, and wrap up with a review. This is the fastest, most immersive way to get started and feel the effects of Living Wow now. Right now, go to livingwowcenter.com That's livingwowcenter.com to sign up now for the next supercharge running the 1st to the 10th of the month. Early sign up ensures you a spot and gives you time to complete your preparation assignments as you gear up to supercharge. Wow, you just finished another episode of Living Wow Out Loud. I hope you leave today empowered to live your best life and thrive. If you're ready to jump in and learn a little bit more about Living Wow, come check out the Living Wow Center. That's livingwowcenter.com. And maybe consider joining our next Living Wow Challenge. We run the 1st to the 10th of every single month. See you soon.